The Born to Win podcast highlights individuals excelling at high levels in their purpose and calling. This podcast is for anyone looking to get ahead in life and willing to take action and reach their full potential. Using C.H.A.M.P.S male mentoring model of the 3 E's, education, empowerment, and exposure, it means you too are born to win.
I'm born to win. Live. The Champs from Chicago be screaming all that. You are now tuned in to the Born to Win podcast. Champion.
Welcome to another Born to Win podcast, everybody. I'm super excited that you are tuning in once again with me. I have a very, very, very special guest who's going to be coming in. He's a local Chicagoan, matter of fact, lifelong Chicagoan, and he resides in the Inglewood community with his wife and 5 children. Guess what? He got 4 girls and 1 boy. I said it again, 4 girls and 1 boy. He created Mr. Dad's Fathers Club in 2017 to help Southside Chicago fathers become active in their community and in their kids' lives. The program currently has 150 fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, uncles, cousins, and concerned citizens as members. Williams is also a former 15th Ward Alderman candidate and chairman of Beasley Academic Center, the Parent Advisory Council, the PAC, and the local school council. I want to give a Born to Win welcome to Mr. Joseph Williams. Welcome, my brother. How you feeling?
What's going on? Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Singleton.
Man, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. So why don't we jump in and give our viewing and listening audience just kind of a brief on your story. Who is Joseph? Who is Joseph? Tell us a little bit about yourself, my brother.
Man, I appreciate that. Wow, that is a great question. I don't always have that space where I get to talk about me and like share who I am. So I'll say, born and raised on the south side of Chicago. Only have one other sibling, which is my younger brother, and my mom. And I'll say that growing up on the south side of Chicago, my mom just raising 2 young men by herself. I always have to take my hat off and give her so much credit because I just understand what that was like growing up back in the day. But then I always have the opportunity to be on the straight and narrow path. You know, I used to always think that I needed a male model or just having my dad that would help me from stopping and doing certain things. So I would say I tried my best to be the perfect child, student, everything. I grew up always wanting to go to school and just do the right thing. And even when I was younger, wanted to make sure I served my community and helped out just by volunteering and doing different things. But as I continue to grow, you get to live and learn, right? So I had the opportunity to also go to Chicago State University,
Nice.
But then I've also was outside, still hanging around in the streets all the time with some of my homies from off the block back in the day, right? And eventually it catches up with you. You know, I was fortunate enough to be able to make it through that process and make it out of not even make it out of the community, but make it out of that particular environment where it was so much happening during that period of time. And after just coming up that way, I always thought about how important it was to just kind of have a male model, and just to have like that father role model in your life. So I didn't grow up with it. Of course, myself went down that road where I had a few bumps and got in trouble. And I think having them wake up calls and those personal experiences helped build me because for a sure thing, once I started to have kids, I knew I don't want to get in any trouble that's going to potentially put me behind bars or even maybe take my life. So yeah, you start to get, the older you get, the wiser. So I started to get wiser as I had my children, and they kind of helped shape me. I tell folks all the time, my children saved my life, but they helped shape me to be the man that I am, the father that I am, husband, everything. My children really did save my life. And because of that, I thought, what better way, since I'm turning my life over, than to just help other fathers and men do the same thing and get them involved in their children's lives so they can feel just the same way I did and even better and understand that it's so much more. And now we can actually change the narrative from what we went through, and now we can actually help build our future
That's
by
right.
teaching our young children so they won't make the same mistakes. So, so Joseph Williams was once, a lot of folks don't know, was once a guy who was always a good guy, but also was a guy that hung outside and did things I probably shouldn't have been doing, but had a chance to learn from these experiences and grow from them. And now, everything I do, I want to make sure it's a positive impact on our community and on our people. But overall, again, I attended Chicago State. I played basketball at King High School. I went to King High School and graduated from King. That is my
Nice.
school right there. So graduated from King in 2007. Played basketball, ran track, tried football out for like the first year. It did not work out at all. But I still love Coach Williams. He was like a legend over at King. So Coach was like my boy. I love Coach over there. And again, born and raised in the Bronzeville community, stayed over there majority of my whole life, and from there, end up moving. Getting married, having children. We moved over to Inglewood and relocated. I think like the rest is like history. I'm sure I'm missing a ton of different things, but that's pretty much a gist of some of the things. But again, the community work, I've been around for quite some time, just having the experience to be under and volunteer for Congressman Rush and Preckwinkle, different individuals when I was like 10 years old. Even
Wow.
at 10, it was a young lady, Monica Haslett from Little Black Pearl. It used to be Little Black Pearl Workshop. Now it's called Black Pearl. I really remember, I mean, this lady is amazing. She was taking individuals like myself to help us, to get us out of trouble. So we wouldn't just be in the streets doing anything, right? And I think that's what was so amazing for back in the day. You had that opportunity and you had those individuals that would reach out to try to be there to help. But anyway, Monica had a 2-flat building over there on Drexel. And I mean, I learned everything that dealt with art there. I made mosaics. I did a little bit of glass blowing. I did pottery. My art was so
Nice.
dope that she used to put them in auctions, and I used to always like sell everything all the time. And it was like super cool. And even being involved there, so many experiences. I mean, like celebrities would just come in and out of the door buying art and different things like that. And for my 8th grade graduation, I would never forget. And we still talk to today about it. But for my 8th grade graduation, she took me to the McCormick place and introduced me to Michael Jackson and Chris Tucker. And then Jesse Jackson was there as well. It was like in this private room,
Are you
and they
serious?
both signed my 8th grade graduation book. Man, when I
Wow.
tell you my book is gone, and I be talking about this book every day, it's probably somewhere around, but I just have to do some hard searching. But I would never forget that moment. But she has some of the original pictures from that moment. So I always tell her, like, do you find anything? She say, I got them, Joe. I just got to look for it. But
Oh man, that's
yeah.
incredible.
So yeah, just having those type of experiences, like even being younger, those type of people were around me, and I appreciated that influence, right? But then I still always thought I needed that man, and that was one of the main reasons we started the Mr. Dad's Fathers Club, was because of the fact that we thought that it's very important to have men involved in children's lives. It really does help shape and build and just build all children. It's not just the young boys, but it's the young girls. It really helps. So that was the ultimate goal of starting our nonprofit. But overall, I wanted to get involved in my children's life. So starting to do that, we volunteered at the kids' school, and me volunteering there eventually led me to be the PAC chairman over at Beasley, which now I'm the Parent Advisory Council chair.
Nice.
And I actually, we build on it. We get parents involved. We have workshops for them. We get computers where they can come in and take care of work that they need to take care of. So it's making that community piece and making it more welcoming for schools and bringing everybody together as a whole. So I love doing it. And then just recently, last year, I was elected to be the chairperson of the local school council, also at Beasley. So just keeping busy and working on a ton of more different things. Working on a children's book and a film and everything that you could think of. Just everything that I can do right now to just continue to make an impact on our babies and on Chicago.
No, I love it. And if you can talk a little bit more about kind of the journey that led you into focusing in on fathers, where did that passion come from?
Yeah. I mean, I know my father. I even have conversations with them, in today's time to check on them and things like that. But growing up again, that impact wasn't necessarily there. So I knew I wanted to do the opposite. I have 5 children. I knew I wanted to be involved in every last one of my babies' lives. So I wanted to do something different. But man, I can't just continue to like stress the fact of how a man model helps shape our children's lives so differently. Like you can have a woman involved, and I think it's important to have the woman piece because children have to see all pieces. But when you bring the man piece into these children's lives, it really helps build them. I think for just young ladies, I think of every moment I have with my children and how just amazing that is and how it makes me feel as a father, but how I see them grow through that, how I see my son and he's learning, he can go in the living room and just pray by himself now. So to see the impact that I could make on my children and knowing that this is what I want them or to help shape them to look like and think positive and want to do something with their lives and have a plan and just be encouraged. And that was the ultimate goal for targeting fathers. Like we chose fathers just because of that, because we realized the influence. I volunteered at Beasley and it wasn't a lot of men in the school. But I can tell you that the difference from me coming into the lunchroom and building these relationships, I can ask the children to be quiet and you can hear a pin drop. And I could do that without even screaming. It's just a different approach. And I just really like we got to get even in our communities, beyond the schools, having families come back together again, bringing men back into the homes. Is nothing like having an entire family together to help raise our babies. It just goes back to that. It takes a village term. So, targeting our black fathers is trying to kind of go back on things of through our history, how black men were pushed out of the homes and black men were like
That's right.
all these narratives, and I wanted to make sure that we prove that that's not true. Black fathers are involved in children's education and bringing their babies to school and picking them up. Black fathers are probably more involved than other fathers, maybe. Black fathers are around, they are doing it. And what we have to do is acknowledge it now and bring black families back together and bring the men out. When we're talking about the violence in Chicago and everything, that's our men stepping up, coming together and saying, we won't allow this. And I think it's very much possible. And a lot of it is being in touch with our youth. And that's why if we get a chance to catch our children at an earlier age, to help shape and mold them, give them a different perspective on life and really be engaged, those children then grow. And I think you have a better chance when you get involved early with them, but you also have someone who is a black man doing this type of work as well.
It's a powerful thing when we are able to connect on that level. And one of the things that I wanted to share was how impressed I am personally about your outreach and your passion and heart towards black men, fathers, dads, grandfathers, cousins, uncles, right? We all have a role to play. And the powerful thing is when we're able to unite and work across the city together and build alliances, I think we have a greater impact. And so one of the questions that I had was like, how were you able to overcome some of the obstacles you had growing up?
Mm. You know, again, just having that positive influence, whereas I did have those individuals that helped build me as I grew. But, man, I hate to say it, but I was one of them kids where it was like that hard head. Okay, so as I was saying, I was one of them kids growing up where it was like a hard head make a soft butt. That was a true saying for me. Experiences were life experiences. I just thank God. Whereas he as he took me through these experiences, he still placed individuals throughout my life that helped shape me as I was going through it. So, when we talk about the hurdles, being self-motivated, always having hope, not giving up, being consistent on a mission and really developing what's your purpose. And if you don't know that, how can you still make an impact on somebody else, right? So a lot of folks want to know that Joseph Williams was sleeping out of his van because I was homeless, because all I wanted to do was volunteer, volunteer, volunteer,
Mm.
volunteer.
Yeah,
And I didn't realize, like, you need to have you a job too while you trying
that's
to do
right.
this volunteer work. You need to bring them together here, right? So, but without going through them experiences, I would never knew how to make sure that you have a job to put food on your table and keep a roof over your head, making sure that you can still do your community work, balancing things out. So, in life, I've probably been through a ton of hurdles, but I think the biggest thing sometimes is that sometimes when we go through things, we instantly want to go to drugs, or we want to give up, or we get into a negative mindset. And sometimes, no matter how hard things get, which I think this is life, life is not supposed to be perfect. No matter how hard things get, we have to always try to find a way to be encouraged and to keep going. And I think that's the part that gets tough on people sometimes. It's like being through those hurdles, because it gets tough. So many times I've had to go in my bathroom, but I have to come back out and like focus and continue to just try to build no matter how tough it gets. I try to keep pushing and just keep going. But hurdles is something that I would say I am used to, but getting through them
Yeah.
it was just it was honestly it was just me wanting to beat through it. But again, having positive models in my life,
Hmm.
that also gave me hope and told me, like, or guided me and gave me some type of direction. That's why it's so important to have not just men in children's lives, but everyone to be involved, to have that village involved to help you get over these hurdles.
Yeah, you used the word hope twice. So how do you define hope? What's your definition of hope?
Oh, that mustard seed of hope. That hope where when you don't know what the outcome gonna be.
Right, right.
That hope when you just believe, and you believe in yourself, and you just understand that it might not even happen when you want it to, but having that type of hope, whereas you can't think about what's to come, you can only be in the place that you in, control what you can control for that time be, and just pray and have enough hope that things will be okay. I mean, you gotta have that seed, you gotta have that mustard seed of hope. Like, you gotta believe at some point. We have to believe that it will be okay. And I honestly believe that. I haven't had the perfect life. When I'm talking about I got a chance to be around and still see the paper food stamps, I got a chance to grow up through
Yes,
all
sir.
of that. I remember the pork and beans and hot dogs. I
Yes,
remember
sir.
all type of stuff that we used to eat back in the day, just growing up. So like, I wouldn't know that I'd be where I'm at right now. Coming through the life that I came through, a lot of my friends has passed away or locked away, or they might even be doing things that I'm doing, and maybe even giving back now and making a positive impact. But coming through our community, you know, you just don't see it until you get older, and you see, like, man, and when you realize that you've made it to a point where you can make a difference,
Yeah.
you have to do the right thing, but I would have never thought that I would have made it to this point, having the type of life that I had. I never would have thought. So many times I could have given up. When I was homeless, I still went in public bathrooms, washed up, and went into the kids' school and volunteered with a smile on my face. You would have never knew
Wow.
this stuff. So like, you have to have hope, and you have to understand that it's a season for everything, but everybody's going to have a time where they're going to go through hard times in their life, and we can't just tap out. We can't give up. We gotta inspire ourselves even when others don't. We have to be strong. And I think that's the best I can say is just try to be as strong as you can be. And when times get hard, have an individual, have outlets where you can have these different things that relieve stress. Go to therapy. Right now, I am at, I think everybody in my house is good and they cool, right? But that is not stopping me for thinking about counseling right now for the family,
Good.
because children and people still need outlets. We got to talk about what we go through.
Right.
I've seen death. I've been outside and been around it. I've seen so much stuff in our communities just doing the community work. And it's like, it's trauma there. So
That's true.
when you see that, don't be scared to talk about it. Open up to people, and that's the main reason why I love our program, is because we're giving those children just that. Not only do we do the reading and literacy and reading books to children, but we got the mentoring piece. We do the one-on-one support. We're going off to the side to get to know these young men and women, to see, like, hey, You can talk about whatever you want to talk. We build relationships, get them comfortable where they want to talk about what they want to, but they got to get it out. Because
Right.
what happens is you go through this system and you never get a chance to really release these feelings and talk about things. And then you get older, you out here in the community, and now you know you it does reflect in the community sometimes when children and youth do not get a chance to express themselves and deal with their feelings. Sometimes you see that in the community when we're looking at a lot of the violence and things that's happening. I think all of those are babies, and those are babies that can still be saved.
Right.
I'll say this. I used to always think, and I talk about a lot, shaping the babies so when they grow. But we added a piece to our Fathers Club just 2 years ago where we said, hey, we're going to help our babies out, but we're also going to go back and help the fathers out. We're going to add a piece to this program where we help build fathers. So just in case maybe they don't know how to be a dad, maybe they don't know certain things, or maybe they need certain things and these hurdles are stopping them from getting to the next stage in life. Well, we're going to come in, we're going to mentor our fathers. We're going to inspire them now. We're going to help them get their IDs and socials and birth certificates. We're going to help our fathers so they can be great men to provide the care for their children. So I'm so glad we added that piece because these are men that were honestly counted out, just like I was. These men were counted out, and they were pretty much like, hey, you got a felony, you got this, you got that, and nobody really cares no more. And to hear these young men, how educated they were, to hear how they come from the streets, but they still want to do something with themselves. They are amazing fathers. I'm on the line with them while sometimes you might catch one in the back playing a game with his child, or you might just see them at a zoo together. And these are all men that were targeted as gangsters and all of this stuff, and they honestly just need a little support and a little help so they can get to the next stage. They don't want to, people don't always want to do harm. And we have to be open-minded to things like this. So I'm so glad we added that extra piece to our program 2 years ago, because now it gives me the opportunity to meet gentlemen on the south and west sides of Chicago and really inspire them. And then I get them tickets to everything I get so they can go out with their families. So it's just something that's really, really dope to see.
Yeah, it's beautiful, brother. And I definitely applaud again the idea of engaging our brothers, engaging our men, engaging our fathers, our uncles, our cousins, our grandfathers. So let me ask you a question. You talked about, people not knowing that you were living in your car, but you were going into the school with a smile on your face, volunteering. What, if you can describe, like, for us, what was your favorite failure, and how did that make you successful?
Oh wow. Probably not take my own advice. No, but favorite failure. I would just go to the part of honestly trying to find a balance. Um, for me, I think that was the piece that it was like a wake up call. Having to sleep outside of my car, and it all came from me not having income. It was like wake up and get you a job, take care of your business. So for me, I think that was like something that was like honestly a wake up call for me, and it really like helped give me a little bit more direction because it said you can do the things you love to do, but it's putting it together. How you're going to do that, and not just doing it off the fly, and you can't support your family. So I had to do it in a way whereas it made sense. Whereas you can have fun, you can do all of the great events and do all of the good things in the community and give back, but you also find a balance. So that helped bring more balance to my life because I mean that was something I probably was really looking for. So I think that was probably one of the failures for me, and just even going through them times, I couldn't do nothing but just pray to God and like honestly, just try to be as strong as I can be, knowing that I'm hurting so much on the inside, but I'm a black man, I'm a father, children got to see me on point. It's so much bigger than me. And that's why I say we have to be able to have these outlets, right? So I think for me, it was honestly a wake up call, but it really inspired me to not just get myself together with making sure I get a job. It also opened my mind to more people who could be going through the same like situation. And that's why I'm always like out like feeding the homeless or doing like different events around that, like just so I can give back and support. My daughters won't let me ride past anybody without stopping our car to make sure we give money out, right? To make sure we do something, food, anything that's gonna just give back. Like going through certain experiences in life, it does help you, whereas you acknowledge, this is where you was, or this is where you can be. If you don't take care of your priorities and have things prioritized and put them in the right places. So having your priorities together is extremely important. It takes one time. One time can change your entire life. And it's all about the decisions that we make. And understanding that every decision has a consequence behind it. So prioritizing, and for me, one of my biggest failures was just that, not understanding how to balance the work, how to prioritize things, and making sure that I did that so I can make a good living as well. But I feel blessed now because obviously I'm in a position now where I can do everything I love doing, and now I can get paid to do it too.
Praise God. That's a blessing
Yes, sir.
on top of a blessing. So let me
Yes, sir.
ask. Just let's talk about impact. And I've always asked every guest that has come on the Born to Win podcast this question: that if you were able to have a billboard, right, that millions or billions of people will read and see, and you can put whatever words you want on that billboard, what words would you put on that billboard, and tell us why?
Whew, that's a good one. I want to say keep hope, but then I also want to say, I think one for me, and it's something that I stand on, and I strongly believe that this can change the world one day, is working together. Together we can.
Yeah,
Um, Together we can change the world. And I honestly believe that. I believe in togetherness. I believe that it's so much power in unity. So if
yeah,
I was ever put anything on a billboard, it'd deal something within that way, because I completely understand it. Like I see it so clear, and the power in people is dynamic. But we have to understand that we're not each other enemies, and we have to work with one another. We have to be willing to support each other. You know, you know, we just got to do right by each other. And I think once we and I think it's happening. And as it continue to happen, I think this world can change because of that. When people come together, you can draw out the dark real quick. You can draw out any evilness, anything that is negative is drawn out when you are coming together in love and unity. We saw like Dr. King and folks back in the day do this, and honestly, a lot of things got done peacefully. And when I look at today's time, a lot of things are getting done peacefully at times. So I think just coming together, when we realize that the power in us, we can police our own communities. We can choose any elected official. Everybody will have that piece of the pie. We will have that Black Wall Street right back and rolling again. We will have everything that we deserve and more. Just we need that unity, and it has to be with everybody. And I think when you get unity, you can change the world when you come together. And I honestly believe that. I see it all the time. I see the power of two and three people coming together, how you can quickly make a restaurant and your restaurant is booming and you're doing good. I
right.
see the power in people when they come together, because we all have something to bring to the table. I might be good at doing the action and getting out there doing the action, but somebody else might be good at doing the media and the speaking. Somebody else is good at this. So and when you bring that collectively together, oh man, watch out.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can just talk to us about what's next, what's coming up, any events, any programs, any summer things and opportunities that you want to share?
Whew, let's write it down. Okay, we got a few things going on. So, right now we are hosting parent workshops in Chicago public schools, where we are helping parents deal with social emotional learning. The same thing we do with the children. But on the parents piece, we're helping parents find anxiety and depression within their children, and we're helping them notice those signs and how to cope and deal with it. Boosting our parents' confidence and their self-esteem. When the leader is tired, who gonna be there to support you, right?
Right.
And having all of these dope like conversations and workshops around that health and nutrition, where we cook live like healthy food, and parents get to see how to eat healthy, so now they can feed their children this type of healthy stuff, right? Parent leadership, showing parents how to organize and how to come together for the needs of their children and how to get it done. So we doing workshops right now within that. For the summertime, we have three main events that we do every year, no matter what. On 4th of July, Labor Day, and Memorial Day. Those are the particular weekends and days where violence is supposed to peak. So we want to always get out there on those days and bring peace on those particular days. I'll say last year in Inglewood on 63rd and Ashland, we had an opportunity to do a few events right there during those periods of time. And I can tell you that we actually saw a decrease in violence. And I thought that was so cool to hear
That's
that we didn't
powerful.
hear any, there was no gunshots for that particular weekend. And I thought that was so amazing because it shows when you come together, when you bring in a positive impact, it can help. No matter if you holding the shoot up by him coming out to spend time at your event, or no matter if you're saving a kid life from just being in a crossfire. These events matter when we're doing these type of things. So we have more events coming for the summer. We're gonna do a dads and scoops with the ice cream trucks, and father's gonna read books and do scoops of ice cream with the children. Um, our Father's March that we do annually. And we'll be doing our youth parade that we did last year for the first time, when we shut down the entire street of Racine, and we had a huge parade where children had a chance to come out, and like dance teams dance for the entire community coming all the way down the street. So we got a ton of different events and things that'll be coming up soon with our Fathers Club. And I think something that's like the biggest project and thing that I'm working on right now is we have a community garden that's in the West Pullman now on
Nice.
121st and Halsted. So we got some land through the land bank there, and we're going to build a community garden so people can get
Love it.
fresh fruits and vegetables, and can like grow and eat what they grow, get more knowledge about it, and just live healthy to kind of expand that lifespan kind of. So that's something we'll be doing there, and then so that's one of them, and then our next one is our book. We'll be coming out with our first children's book soon, and this book is all about like how the Fathers Club started right here in my own home with my children, and
Nice.
read books to my children, and how it elevated till we ended up on tour at schools. I'm not gonna tell you the whole book, but it's gonna be a really good book of telling the story of the Mr. Dad's Fathers Club, but also motivating children throughout the book and boosting that self-esteem of children. So I think the book is going to be amazing. And on top of that book, we're going to come out with a film, a 30-minute film that's going to go along with the book. So in our show, we did field trip days, and we read books and things like that. So we have the Chicago Fire Department who is saying they would love to volunteer and be a part of this. So you're going to have the fire chief giving us a tour, and it's going to be some great things that's going to be in the film. I can't say too much,
Man, that's
but
awesome.
it's going to be a really nice film. It's going to go with the book, and I think that's going to be something so amazing for families all over the world and children. And I think the movie that comes along with the book is going to be something that I think should really inspire a lot of people to just make a difference and be the change that you want to see.
I love it, man. And so, how can people find you? How can they donate? How can they learn more about the events that are coming up?
Absolutely. So we try to make sure we post all our events on our website. Our website is MrDadsFathersClub.com. So that's literally MrDadsFathers Club, CLUB.com. So MrDadsFathersClub.com. And that's on every social media platform. So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the networks at the Mr. Dad's Fathers Club.com or Mr. Dad's Fathers Club. Just hashtag it or have it, and you can go right through there now. For donations, you can go through our website, and there is a donation link there for you to donate. And I think that's pretty much all of the different ways you can contact us. I think my cell phone number is even out here where you could just call me directly. Don't know, but it is there. I try to be as like you. I want you to be able to reach me. We are here to serve the people. So because that's the case, I need you to reach me when you need me. So I think my cell phone number is even up there as well. And again, on our website, All of our upcoming events are being posted. If you want to bring the family to join a live read a book day, you're more than welcome, or you can join it virtually through Facebook, where you can go on there and see some upcoming dates where we'll be reading books. And again, all our books are focused on social emotional learning. So we're trying to boost confidence and self-esteem. We want to motivate. So all of our books are like, they all have a crazy dope meaning to it, where we're really inspiring children and families all over. So I'll say just reach out to us. Mr. Dad's Fathers Club is the name. Any social media platform, please feel free to reach out. And again, visit our website at mrdadsfathersclub.com. And there are also volunteer opportunities there where you guys can come out and support us at some of our events. And we're giving away tickets. Right now, we have Museum of Science and Industry tickets, and we'll begin Brookfield Zoo tickets next month. So we want families to take advantage of this stuff, right? So we even got Levi that's reaching out to us to donate some clothes, right? So we want to make sure all of those will be on the website for you to click on, say what you want, send us an email, say, hey, Joe, I want to know a little bit about this. I want to inquire about this. The doors is open for you guys, and I want to make sure that we be here to support you.
Well, thank you so much for joining the Born to Win podcast. We need to support the great work that Brother Joseph is doing. So please make sure you follow, you donate, you give, you support, you engage. All hands on deck. So again, thank you so much, Brother Joseph, for joining the Born to Win podcast. And listen, everyone, I need for you to make sure you share this video link, and make sure you also share this with somebody. This is in Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple. We all over. Please, it's very important that we get on the ground before the summer hits. So again, this is the Born to Win podcast. I'm your host, Vondale Singleton. Until the next one, we out.
The Born to Win podcast highlights individuals excelling at high levels in their purpose and calling. This podcast is for anyone looking to get ahead in life and willing to take action and reach their full potential. Using C.H.A.M.P.S male mentoring model of the 3 E's, education, empowerment, and exposure, it means you too are born to win.
I'm born to win. Live. The Champs from Chicago.
Thank you for listening to the Born to Win podcast. Would you consider making a donation to C.H.A.M.P.S? We are looking to provide senior class care packages and other essential items like food, hygiene, and toiletries for the families of our C.H.A.M.P.S mentees. You can donate via Cash App at $CHAMPS Mentoring or PayPal at paypal.me/CHAMPS Mentoring. Or you can always visit our webpage, champsmentoring.com, and click on the donate button. Thank you.